Hello everyone, and welcome to our first DDK Joseki. In this one, to be we're going to be talking about the 3-4 point and the high approach to the 3-4 point. It is recommended that you play out these variations in every corner on the board and switch colors for every single Joseki. That way you can see it in every possible scenario that it could show up on the board. This also means that you should play it from this angle and this angle and repeat the same with different colors. In total, you should replay this Joseki 16 times, 4 times in each corner, 2 times for each color. So now we're going to talk about our first Joseki again with this move. For starters, we want to understand that we approach from one space away and we don't actually touch our opponent. This is because if we touch a single stone like this, it's 3 liberties to 3 liberties and our opponent will play first, and we will be at a disadvantage. So here, we have a disadvantage of liberties and we have a disadvantage of territory. So black has the territory and white's on the outside struggling to survive. So this one is not recommended. Rather, we want to play one space away, and that is a proper approach. So let's learn our first variation. Our first variation is actually this under attachment. This under attachment is very solid. White can play here, and black descends back. White connects, black extends, white extends. So let's talk about each move. Black attaches in order to secure the corner, and also make a base. White plays the Hane because a touch, normally you respond with a Hane. It also helps to seal black in and prevent black from escaping. From there, black retracts back in order to secure his base and protect his cut. White protects his cut by connecting. Black extends his position in order to not get surrounded, and white makes a base. If black chooses to ignore from here, white can simply play this move in order to surround the corner. So here you can see white has lots of influence. Influence is more valuable than territory if it's as it stands. What I mean by this is, here white has around 10 points of influence and black has about 10 points of territory. So locally it's even. But this influence will affect the rest of the board and black's territory will not. So we consider this locally good for white. So here, we really want this extension. That way we don't get surrounded in the corner. On top, white needs a base, so white plays a 3-space extension. 2 stones high, jump over 3. 1 stone jumps over 2, 2 stones jump over 3, 3 stones jump over 4, and 4 more jumps over 5. This is the way to make a base, so it's a good idea to remember that. So here we have 2 stones high, so we jump over 3. And that is our base. So now black has the corner territory and an extension, and white has a base, his extension, and he gets the top side, black gets the right side in the corner, and black has Sente. When learning Joseki, it's very important to remember who has Sente at the end. Sometimes you will choose a Joseki that has less value locally, but will give you Sente, so that way you can get to something urgent or big on the rest of the board. Here, black has Sente. This is going to be our standard variation, so I recommend learning this one first. Now, we are going to expand on this in future videos, but go ahead and practice this one in your games and see how it goes. Alright, so now let's talk about the next one. Now we're going to give white a little more variation. So here, normally we want to fix the cut. But actually, we can fix it. But actually, we can fix this cut with the tiger's mouth instead. So now, black plays his extension in order to still not get surrounded in the corner. And then white can expand. This allows white to go 1 space further in exchange for some local aji. The local aji here, or weakness, is actually this move. This move is very big in order to steal the points. However, it shouldn't be played until later. So if white tries to respond simply, then black can actually connect under. White tries to cut, there's an Atari, and black can actually kill this cutting stone. So locally, white should actually play this one. And now, black has this move and a 1-point jump here, or black can go here and there's a 1-point jump here. I don't want to go into those variations just yet because I want to talk more about the simple stuff. Here, white has a 3-space extension, and we want to talk about how and when this is used. White should not expect to get many points here until he secures this area. Black, however, got 14 points of territory. This black position is worth 14 points. There's also another move we can try. This move was actually invented recently by AlphaGo, and several pros have tried it and considered it very good for white. Here, white can play here, and black must respond. And now, white just considers the influence as profit, and now he can ignore into Nikki. This one's very advanced, and I wouldn't recommend it, but I would know it's a possible. This one is very advanced, and while I wouldn't recommend playing it just yet until you master the basic ones first, it is good to know that it is a possibility and know how to respond to it in case your opponent plays it against you. Now let's talk a little bit about punishments. Let's say black ignores. If we try to play the same move, it's actually a little bit different. And that is because there's an Atari now. This way, it's a little good for black. So now, we don't want to play this if we have the tiger's mouth. Rather, we would want to play this move. Now black slides in order to not get surrounded, and white has more influence than black has territory. So globally, this position for white looks a little favorable for white. Additionally, if white ignores, as we said before, black can go here, and now black can actually make an extension. Also, black may choose to attack it from here or from here. It should be noted that this peep might not be good. That is because white can easily play sabaki here, or play loose and light and be willing to give up some. If you try to simply cut, white can Atari, and simply play like here. Even if you play this, white can sacrifice 1 stone in order to take a lot of influence on the outside. So, rather than trying to cut off 1 stone, you would want to attack the whole group. Therefore, white does need this extension. It should also be noted that we shouldn't peep even after that extension, because here, if white fixes, now we've lost the aji, or weaknesses, inside of here, and we've given white a lot of territory. Try not to play these fixie moves unless you have to. One more option for black is actually a 2-space extension here. This 2-space extension is actually to prevent the peep here, and that is why I showed it in this video. This 2-space extension, the reason we are learning it is because many of you might see it in pro games if you are reviewing pro games, and you may want to know why are we playing the 2-space extension instead of the 1-space extension. Actually, the 2-space extension is to prevent white from doing this without consequence. Now if white does this, we are actually extended further and we have more territory. Rather than this, we would rather leave the aji down here and some aji in here or here for later. For example, if white gets some stones around here and gets some strength, there may be some aji here. Don't worry about this for now. Just know that this is considered slightly helpful for black if black has the 2-space extension. So we'd want to revert it back to normal. Now, black feels like he's gotten potentially 2 points more rather than the other variation where he didn't have those 2 points. So now, black actually feels he got like 2 points more, even though he's gotten a little bit of aji. But it also prevents white from just playing this peep and getting a big move first. It should be noted that if white connects, this 2-space extension is usually not recommended, and that is because this push down is actually really easy for white to do. You may not need to do it immediately, but it's considered a little bad to have the aji in here when white is so solid and thick right here. So rather than that, I would not recommend playing a 2-space extension if white connects. Rather, only if white plays the tiger's mouth. So in this example, we can say the Joseki we want to play is if white connects, we can do a 1-point jump and white extends. And if white plays the tiger's mouth, we can do a 2-space jump and then white extends. These are the 2 variations I would recommend learning for now. Don't worry about all the ins and outs of all the extra variations. Even I have trouble remembering all of them. Just learn the basics and the ideas behind them. Once you understand these 2 variations, we can talk about the timing of when to use them. Alright, so now let's go ahead and talk about the timing of how to use these groups, or use these Josekis. For that, we'll need an example opening. Here, let's play Shimari. Now, if we play a Shimari, normally the Shimari wants an extension. So let's play this Joseki. If we simply connect, and white plays here, now the Shimari can get a 3-space extension and kind of force white to nearly respond. Sometimes it is encouraged for white to respond here, but it is not unheard of for white to tanuki and play a big move. There's just a lot of aji inside of here. Here though, I would recommend just jumping. It's easy and simple, and it's not that big of a deal to lose sente here for security. However, because white or black gets a 3-space extension here, we would say that this connection is not as good as the tiger's mouth. For example, if we play the tiger's mouth, now we can extend one further. And now when black plays and white jumps, you can see black only has a 2-space extension from his Shimari. So this is the timing of when to play this tiger's mouth. It's when you need to extend one further in order to reduce a solid and strong position. Now let's change it. Let's say there's a start point. And then black simply plays a normal move. And now white can play over here. Now I would say a connection might be recommended, because a connection is solid and it lets you settle very easily and very quickly. Additionally, there's no solid extension here or that black wants to play, because even if black plays an extension, you can still invade the 3-3, or you can invade on the side. Therefore, it's not a solid position that needs an extension, so we don't have to worry about reducing it too much. So security might be a better idea here. Remember, the tiger's mouth had more aji, and this solid connection has less aji, so it's more secure and more solid. We also want to be on the 3rd line here in order to get security and make our base. But it is possible to go on the 4th line. This is a very influential strategy. For example, let's talk about if black has Sanrensei and white has this type of move. You might not see this in a game very often, but in some scenarios, you may end up with a position where you can approach your opponent. Now, if I play the connection, I would want to play high, because now I have support and I'm building a position and building a large framework and influence. Another example is if we play here, and I play the Sanrensei. Let's say white plays a normal move. This also might be possible, but I wouldn't recommend it at this level. I just want you to know there's a possibility in the future. So now, if we play high, we can actually go for a very big influence strategy because we have an influence opening. And the other opening, there was a white stone over here, so there wasn't much influence. So we would just go low for security. Here, there is a lot of influence, and so because of that, we can actually play this type of way. There also may be some forcing moves here, and white may respond with something, and then we can get another 2-space extension. Or if we feel that's too slow, or white might ignore that, then we can simply jump here. These moves may not be exact, but I want to show you the idea of the difference between the high and the low move. The high 3-space extension is for influence, and the low 3-space extension is for security. I recommend sticking with the low until you master it and understand it completely, and then you can find the timing of when to play high. Alright, so these are our two basic examples for our first 3-4 high approach Joseki. I hope you guys found that helpful, and remember, practice this for a couple weeks and try to understand the ins and outs of this entire variation. The high approach can be very complicated, and there's lots of ways you can play this. These variations are only the simplest ideas. These variations are just the simplest ideas in order to teach you the basics of how this variation works. But hopefully this will give you a better idea on how to play in the corners, and hopefully it'll make your positions more solid and make your games more fruitful by giving you more territory and an easier time of dealing with weaknesses. I do hope these videos are helpful to you guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video and would like to see more, please hit that subscribe button. If you would like to support the creation of more videos as well as get access to early releases, then head on over to my Patreon at patreon.com/Clossi. And if you want more Go content, then go to my website, seansgogroup.com. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys